Oh boy, this is not going good. It's game 1 of the 2022 ALDS. The number 1 seed Houston Astros are hosting the young and upcoming Seattle Mariners. And I'm not gonna lie to you, things aren't going too hot. The M's absolutely hammered the Astros ace in Justin Verlander, and they tacked on another run in the 7th. An Alex Bregman homer made it 7-5, but the Stros are down to their last inning. David Hensley was hit by a pitch and walked, but Jose Altuve struck out swinging. Things are looking real bleak right about now. Jeremy Pena quickly goes down 0-2, but somehow he bats a 1-2 slider into center. Scott Servais has seen enough from Paul Sewald, so he goes with an interesting move. He calls on defending AL Cy Young winner Robbie Ray to get one out. Just one measly out. The Mariners have a 91% chance to win the game. No batter has ever walked off a postseason game down multiple runs with 2 outs. Unfortunately, up to bat is the Astro Ray least wants to face in this situation. I think you already know who I'm talking about.
Alvarez launches deep right field, and this one is gone, and the Astros walk them off in game 1.
Yordan Alvarez is his name, and crushing baseballs is his game. But not right away. Born in Las Tunas, Cuba, Yordan played 2 years of the Caribbean National Series. But interestingly, the power wasn't there. He only hit 1 homer and only had 5 other extra base hits. He eventually defected from Cuba in 2016 and established residency in Haiti. While he was there, Alvarez met a couple of guys you might have heard of. And Junior. Alvarez would make his way to West Palm Beach, Florida, where he would befriend Astros scout Charlie Gonzalez. Charlie was really pulling heavily for Yordan, practically begging the Astros to sign him as an international free agent. But the Astros had already spent tons of money on international free agents, most notably picking up Yuli Gurriel for $47.5 million. Yordan was seen as a guy who was a defensive liability, and most scouts weren't too optimistic on his ability to develop his swing. So with all those red flags, in swooped the infinite money pool that is the LA Dodgers. $2 million, the Dodgers signed him on the very last day of the international signing period. They weren't too keen on the 6'5 lefty, figuring his swing was too stiff and his defense a problem. This scouting report by Ben Badler lumped Yordan in with a couple other guys who have combined to play in 75 career games. But regardless, Yordan Alvarez was set to be the new big power bat in the Dodgers lineup, ready to mash dingers deep into Chavez Ravine for the rest of his career.
Meanwhile,
Boy, this Josh Fields guy just isn't working out. The Astros grabbed him from the Red Sox with the first pick in the 2012 Rule 5 draft. They could have gotten Ryan Presley, but no, now he'll never be an Astro. Fields was below average in both 2013 and 2014, but he rebounded with a solid 2015. Oh boy, time for the 2015 playoffs. Game 2, Fields enters in a very unenviable spot. Bases loaded, 1 out. A double play would be nice, and good lord, it's a 4-pitch walk. Tie game. But Fields rebounds to get Alex Gordon swinging, and then Alex Rios swinging. Game 4, Fields comes in down 1 in the top of the 9th. How did the Astros get to that down 1 position? We don't need to go there. He allows a 2-run home run to Eric Hosmer. Weird. Usually bringing up the ending of the 2015 ALDS brings back some kind of trauma. So Fields regressed in 2016, having an ERA of 6.89 by the time the Astros wised up and demoted him to the AAA Fresno Grizzlies.
meanwhile,
Boy, this Yordan Alvarez guy just isn't working out. I mean, come on, 0 hits in 0 at-bats? He's clearly never going to be any good. Oh, I've got an idea. Is this the Dodgers? This is. You guys want Josh Fields? Well, we do need bullpen help. Who can we get in return? How about Mike Ahmed? Nope, Garrett Hope. Nuh-uh. What about Alvarez, the Cuban? You want to trade Alvarez for Fields? Yeah. Are you insane? That's a terrible trade. Yadier Alvarez for Josh Fields? Wait, did you say Yadier Alvarez? Yeah, Y Alvarez. Yeah, we want Y Alvarez. No way, not happening. Oh, come on. What are you gonna do with Yordan Alvarez? Wait, Yordan Alvarez? Yeah, him. Yeah, sure, whatever. So, just to recap, Yordan Alvarez, now a Houston Astro, Josh Fields, now a Los Angeles Dodger. Yordan makes his MILB debut with the DSL Astros, slashing a solid .345 in his 57 plate appearances. In 2017, he started on the Quad City River Bandits, before finishing out the season with the Buies Creek Astros. See, I've learned. He also was selected to be in the MLB Futures game with Kyle Tucker and Derek Fisher. Here he is in the 6th, playing first base for some reason. In the 7th, he works his way to a 3-0 count before taking a big old hack and fouling off the 4th pitch. But he draws the walk anyway. On the Tomas Nido single, Yordan goes first to third. So Yordan is a sneaky good base runner. He's not a speed demon or anything like that, but he's pretty good at reading and reacting to hits. With 2 outs in the 9th, Yordan attacks Tristan McKenzie's first pitch to drive one into center. Corey Ray, Daniel Murphy's this one, and Yordan has himself an RBI. Then he scores from second on a single from Nido. Again, sneaky good base runner. Oh, did I mention that Yordan Alvarez started this game? The $16 million man struck out 1, but allowed a walk and a pair of singles to result in the game's first run. Overall, Yordan's 2017 was good and a sign of development, but the power wasn't there. At least, not yet.
Meanwhile,
Josh Fields was lights out for the Dodgers the moment he touched down in LA. Well, I guess technically he debuted in Colorado, but you get the point. He was significantly better in all facets of his game. He made a handful of appearances in the 2016 playoffs. Dave Roberts, being the manager he is, brought in Fields and let him face exactly 2 batters in all but his final appearance. And even then, the 3rd batter was the pitcher John Lester. 2017 would be the best season of his career. Fields was great, but his FIP certainly disagreed with his ERA. In Game 2 of the 2017 NLDS against Arizona, Fields came in to begin the 8th. He struck out JD Martinez, allowed a double to Daniel Descalso, and got pulled. Oh, by the way, Robbie Ray started and lost that particular game. In Game 2 of the NLCS against the Cubs, Fields came in to begin the 8th. He got Javier Baez to fly out and got pulled. In Game 4, Fields came in to close out the 8th. He retired Chris Bryant and the game promptly ended in the top of the 9th. But don't worry, as the Dodgers won the NL pennant to face the Astros in the World Series. Hey, how about that? Time for a revenge series, Josh. Well, as it turns out, Game 2 has found its way into extras, and Fields finds himself as the first one out of the pen. Now, all his other postseason appearances with the Dodgers, he's been given a leash of 2 position players. So it's time to play How Many Bases? Ladies and gentlemen, the rules here are simple. You can gain a maximum of 8 total bases in 2 at-bats. So, everyone guess now, how many total bases will Josh Fields allow in this appearance? Place your bets now, folks. Alright, first up is Jose Altuve. Alright, let's see that pitch. Uh-oh, that one's going. Back, and it is out of here. That's 4 total bases so far, Fields. Excellent job. Alright, this is your last batter, Josh, so let's try and get that score up as high as possible. Oh, that was a good hit. I'm liking that one, and that's 8 total bases. Hey, did you know that this is the first time in MLB history that players have hit back-to-back home runs in extra innings? After a long pause because some idiot jumps into the Astros bullpen, Fields faces Yuli. Okay, it was a double. They can't all be winners. So congratulations to whoever guessed Fields would allow 10 total bases in 2 at-bats. Jamie, tell them what they've won.
Our deluxe set of 3 amazing pitches.
Needless to say, he got pulled. Well, the Dodgers' chances of winning aren't looking too good until they score 2 runs to tie the game. Basically, Fields just prevented Puig from having a walk-off home run. Then George Springer went deep to put the Astros up 2 again. Then Charlie Culberson tied the game with the home run. Or at least that's what this celebration would lead you to believe. He actually just made it 7-6, which was the final. Fields made no further appearances in the World Series, and the Astros won in 7. So there is a not unrealistic argument that if Fields hadn't allowed those 2 home runs, the Dodgers would have won in 6. And now, dear viewer, I ask you a simple question. Is it possible to lose a trade twice?
yes. Meanwhile,
Once again, Yordan was selected to the Futures game, this time held in DC. He again played first. He popped out his first time up. Then with Hall of Famer David Ortiz commentating, the next David Ortiz was at bat. Funny how those things work out. He walked. Then he flew out to, just kidding, a drop for a hit. Then he grounded out and almost beat it out thanks to a poor throw. And in the minors, the power stroke was finally there. Yordan hit 20 homers and slugged .534 in Fresno and Corpus Christi.
meanwhile,
2018 would be the new best season of Josh Fields' career, a career-low ERA in 41 innings. But a couple of injuries forced him off the field for most of the summer, and he was left off the playoff roster. And then he never appeared in the majors again. He signed a pair of minor league deals with the Brewers and Rangers, but hasn't pitched since 2018 with the Dodgers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, time for the big question we've all been waiting for. Was the trade worth it? It is time. Yordan Alvarez was called up and made his major league debut on July 9th, 2019. He DH'd, so no defense clips here. He took a ball and then promptly flew out on his first swing. Now it's okay, Yordan, no need to swing for the fences. I mean, all the other members of the Astros core started their careers with singles. Altuve, Springer, Correa, Bregman, Yuli, Tucker, they all got a modest single to start their excellent careers. So you don't need to do anything crazy here to impress.
That ball's smoked to center field. Broxton watches. That is gone.
Or you could do that. That works too. Alright, so here's the Yordan Homer calendar. We already got June 9th, so when's the next one? Nice, back-to-back games. He follows his second career hit and homer with his third career hit, but no homer this time. You want to guess what his fourth hit was?
This ball's crushed to left center field. Forget about it.
You know, I'm starting to think this kid has some power.
That ball's crushed. He's done it again. Yordan Alvarez. Second death.
With that second homer against the Blue Jays, Yordan became the fourth player in MLB history to mash 4 dingers in his first 5 games. Then began a road trip in New York versus the Yankees on the 20th.
Oh, he does. This ball's a rocket to right field.
5 homers in his first 9 games. Then with 2 runners on, down 2 in the 7th, well, here came number 6.
High fly ball driven deep out to right field. Judge leaps, gone. Astros on top.
And then the next day.
Yordan Alvarez deep to right field and gone. He's done it again.
7 homers, 12 games. That was Yordan's last homer of June, and what a June it was. He obviously took home AL Rookie of the Month, but he ran into a home run funk, not homering in 8 games after that 7th one. And then he went and launched 2 against the Rangers. And then another home run funk. 5 games without a long ball. Let's be real, his Linsanity run is over.
Oh! Triple it up! Are you kidding me?
Never mind then. Despite fewer homers in July, Yordan once again took home AL Rookie of the Month. But on August 4th, everything could have changed for the worse. Yordan fouled one off his knee. Not an easy sight when the big man is lying on the ground. But you know what he did next?
Ball drilled deep to center field. Back goes Mallex Smith. He'll make the catch.
Well, Yordan and the Stros went up to Baltimore and he clubbed a homer. Then his first career grand slam. And then another one just for extra credit.
Yordan Alvarez is the greatest hitter in Major League Baseball history.
He had 3 multi-homer games in August, so you best believe that's his 3rd straight AL Rookie of the Month. He was so on his game that in batting practice, he launched a blast that broke part of the Minute Maid Park scoreboard. Unfortunately, Yordan wasn't able to claim his 4th Rookie of the Month honor since Eloy Jimenez decided he wanted to go off. And in fairness, this was his worst month. He posted his only OPS below 1,000 this month. It was $9.99, but still. So he didn't win the Dumb Month Award. This angered Yordan. It angered him so much that he delivered a baseball into the 1st, 2nd, 3rd deck of Minute Maid Park. Such a blast deserves a statue, but I don't know, this chair will do. Oh, did I forget to mention that he hit a home run earlier in the game with the further projected distance? And that home run was his 23rd on the season, which broke the franchise record for most home runs as a rookie? Yes, the Astros slugger was able to easily take home a unanimous AL Rookie of the Year, which was the crowning jewel of the 2019 Astros lineup, the fully operational Death Star. Don't worry, we'll get to Yordan in the 2019 playoffs eventually. Eventually. Hey, did you know that Yordan Alvarez had the highest OPS of any rookie ever with at least 300 at-bats? Now I can actually use the Better Than Ted Williams bit from the Pirates video. Step aside, Josh Bell, Daddy's got a new favorite. Anyway, eventually... Oh hey Tyler Glasnow, how's it going? Yordan's 2019 ALDS begins with a ball. Then he looks at some heat down the middle, then he waves at the curve, fouls a fastball down the middle, and then grounds an easy one to second. But next time he comes up to bat, oh man, is this looking good. So far, Yordan is batting .625 with the bases loaded in his career. I like those odds. First he watches some paint, then he fouls one off right down the middle, then Glasnow misses way upstairs, then some more Okay, Glasnow's out, thanks Altuve. What's the situation for Alvarez? That's some cheese, that's a swing and a miss, and that's a strikeout. Boy, was that quick. This is Oliver Drake, who is part of the insane Rays pitcher factory that produces studs like it's nothing. Yordan swings and misses, then he fouls one, then one that's just a bit outside, he tried the corner and missed, then an upstairs foul, then an outside pitch that leads to an uncontested steal of second by Bregman. Then Alvarez pokes one in the gap, and that's an RBI double. Then he scores on another RBI double from Gurriel, and that's his game 1 done. Time for game 2. The Death Star is fully armed and operational. The Rays send Blake Snell to the mound to try and even up the series, and Snell gets Yordan to whiff on the first pitch. Then he watches some heat outside, and you know what? Hard hit balls are overrated. Now slap singles, that's where it's at. Gurriel swings on the first pitch, stop me if that sounds familiar, and gets a base hit. Correa strikes out, Pena is better, then since this is young beardless Tucker, he only has enough power to hit it to the warning track. Here in the fourth, thanks to Bregman, Alvarez has a chance to go back-to-back, you know, like the bobblehead. High foul ball, outside paint, outside ball, then come on Yordan, you're better than that. Ryan Yarbrough is the man to stop Alvarez, and on 3 pitches, he gets a flyout. Nick Anderson is in now, he can't make free throws, but he can allow a single to Yordan on the first pitch. Yuli flies out, but Correa gets the RBI single, moving Alvarez over to second. Then, since this is young beardless Tucker, he strikes out. And that's game 2. Time for the Trop. You know what? Hot take, I actually like this stadium. I can't help it, I'm a sucker for domes. Anywho, it's Charlie Morton getting the start for Tampa. Yes sir, that's the 3rd former Pirates pitcher to start in this series. Already leading 1-0, Alvarez fouls one directly back to you, the viewer. Then he fouls one, I don't know, somewhere else. Uncle Charlie doesn't get Yordan to bite, but after a foul, Yordan puts it in play, and E4. Bregman moves to third, Yordan moves to second and third, but unfortunately 2 outs for Yuli, who hits an easy can of corn for... Wait, actually, that's a term for outfielders. Wilson, fire somebody!
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
Unfortunately, Zach Greinke couldn't keep the Astros 1-run lead as Alvarez comes up representing the tying run. He again falls down 0-2, but again the curve in the dirt doesn't fool him. But then he looks at, oh, that is not the pitch you want to take. This game is out of control by Yordan's next at-bat, so it doesn't really matter that he's into second with a bit of a stumble. Second and third, but unfortunately no outs for Yuli as he hits a chopper up the middle that scores Bregman and Alvarez. With the game really out of hand in the 8th, Yordan pads his stats a little with a single. But nothing really comes of it because, again, look at the score. Game 4 was going to be a bullpen game for the Rays, hence why Diego Castillo got the start. Of course, by the time Yordan came up, it was already 3-0, with Verlander unable to recreate his dominant Game 1 start. He hits a pop fly that may or may not have hit the roof, but regardless, it gets caught. He faces Ryan Yarbrough in the 4th, and he cracks one deep to the wall. Unfortunately, Altuve may be faster than Yordan, but he isn't fast enough to score from first as he's thrown out at home. If only Altuve stopped, then Yuli would have gotten, well, you know. Now with Nick Anderson pitching, a ball in the dirt scoots away and allows Yordan to move to third, but that threat ends soon after. After getting thrown at on the first pitch, he ends up watching some paint strike him out. Emilio Pagan tries his best to close out the 9th, but he ends up allowing runners in the corners. Representing the tying run, Kevin Cash makes the decision to throw Blake Snell out there to face Yordan. Yes, the starter was tossed into relief to face Yordan Alvarez. Nothing could go wrong here.
Alvarez launches.
Upstairs ball 1, foul upstairs, another foul upstairs, and then Yordan fishes in the dirt for the strikeout. Alright, game 5. Tyler Glasnow is tipping his pitches and it's already 3-0 in the first inning. Yordan watches a fastball go by, and then another one go by. Then a way downstairs curveball, then some paint, and then he puts the ball in play, advancing Bregman with the productive out. That he almost beat out, might I add. Kevin Cash does the same thing his last game, putting in Blake Snell to face Alvarez. And after a few foul balls, he can't quite muscle it over the wall and left. Nick Anderson then makes Yordan look bad with 3 straight swings and misses. After a pair of homers by Michael Brantley and Jose Altuve in the 8th, Yordan easily coaxed a 4-pitch walk. Nothing much happened after that, and the Astros advanced to face the Yankees. Not gonna lie, Alvarez thumped hard in the ALCS. In the 6-game series, he managed only 1 hit in Game 4. He managed to draw 2 walks and drive in a run on an error, but it was overall a poor performance. The Astros still advanced. See, just because the Death Star isn't fully operational doesn't mean it can't blow up planets. Now, if you'll excuse me, the Death Star has to deal with some pesky rebels in Washington, D.C. This shouldn't take long. Alright, time for game 1. Alvarez walks in the 2nd, but nothing comes of it. Then he gets a single in the 4th, but again, nothing comes of it. This time in the 7th, the stakes are a bit higher. The Astros are desperately trying to rally. With the bases loaded and 2 outs, it's up to Alvarez to tie the game.
Strike 1. Strike 2. He struck him out.
Game 2. The Astros get obliterated, and Alvarez picks up a single and intentional walk. Oh, and great, now we have to play without a DH. Thanks a lot, National League. Well, Yordan may not have started Game 3, but in the 8th he pinch hit and couldn't manage much. But the Astros still pulled out the win. Another pinch hit appearance in Game 4, this time with a runner on second. Again, Yordan doesn't manage much. Alvarez finally got a start and left in Game 5, and he immediately proved that to be the right decision.
That is hit into left center field. Back at the wall. It is gone.
He also picked up a pair of singles in the 4th and 7th, with the Astros winning the game. With the chance to clinch in Game 6, the Astros get off to a great start with Alex Bregman giving them the lead on a solo homer in the 1st. Yordan grounded out to lead off the 2nd. In the 4th, he drew a 4-pitch walk, but Correa can't capitalize. Then Justin Verlander did his blow up in the World Series thing, which is getting real annoying, JV. Can you stop doing that? Now trailing by 1, Alvarez jumps on the first pitch from Steven Strasburg and manages to prevent the throw to first. But again, Correa can't capitalize. Alvarez comes up in the 9th, but the Astros trail by 5. His lineout doesn't mean much. Time for Game 7. The X-Wing is closing in on the exhaust port, but Vader can still shoot the Rebels down. And Gurriel does just that, jumping on Scherzer to open the scoring. Alvarez comes up next and fouls the first pitch off. Then he knocks the second one into right for a single. Correa singles, but Chirinos, Reddick, and Springer all can't capitalize. Then Yordan comes up in the 3rd with runners on 1st and 2nd. He fouls off the first pitch, then he does it again, then he takes the eye-level ball, then the foot-level ball. So far in this at-bat, Alvarez has seen Scherzer's stuff really well. He's seen the fastball 3 times already, so when he sees it a 4th time, he doesn't miss it. It's going. This ball went 389 feet, the farthest hit ball of this game, but it settles into Victor Robles' glove. 5th inning. Ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, strike 1, ball 4. Then Correa finally capitalizes. An RBI single just inside the line. Alvarez hustles, he really hustles, and he ends up on 3rd. The Nationals challenged and the call was upheld. Chirinos follows and strikes out, badly. Then comes the top of the 7th. And that's where everything started to go wrong. It starts with Greinke getting Adam Eaton to ground out, but then everything changed when Anthony Rendon hammered a deep solo shot into left. Against Juan Soto, Greinke misses. Ball 1. Then he gets Soto to chase a pitch in the same location. Then another ball outside. Then a changeup perfectly placed at the bottom of the zone. Greinke misses. Ball 4. AJ Hinch walks to the mound, out goes Greinke, Minute Maid goes nuts in appreciation. In comes Will Harris. He gets the swing and miss for strike 1, and then...
That's down the right field line into the corner. This ball is gone for a home run!
Baseball, at its core, is not fair. Yordan Alvarez hit a baseball 389 feet, and it was caught. Howie Kendrick's home run went 336 feet. In the pitch tracking era, that is the 3rd shortest playoff home run. Yordan has a chance. One last chance in the 7th. He waves at the first pitch, and then he gets a slider right down the middle, and he takes it. If he swung at that, a slider right at the top of the zone, he would have had a WOBA of 1.940. It was right in his wheelhouse. If only he swung at it. If he swung at that slider, this game would have turned upside down. Yordan taps one right back to Corbin. His season is over, the Astros season is over, and what might have been the best team ever fell short of a World Series title. 2020 was doomed from the start. It was a terrible year all around for everyone on the Astros, but Yordan Alvarez especially had a terrible season. He tested positive for, that thing. He missed the first 18 games of the year before returning to hit a 3-run home run in his first at-bat back. He played in the game the next day and then missed the rest of the season with surgery on both of his knees. In 2021, Alvarez returned with a fury, becoming the fastest player in the expansion era to drive in 100 RBIs, and the second youngest Astro to have 100 RBIs in a season. On June 18th versus the White Sox, he hit his first career walk-off, a double just inside the line. And on August 3rd, 2021, he would have his chance to prove to the team that had once traded him that he was worth more than Josh Fields. It occurred in the 8th inning. Facing a very homer-averse reliever in Victor Gonzalez, In one of the most hostile environments for a baseball game ever, Alvarez does what he does best.
And Zaidi said, no chance of getting you out of here, Alvarez. That is crushed to right. Yordan with a 2-run home run.
And that's about wraps on 2021. No need to keep dragging this out. Now it's time for the 2021 ALDS. Against the White Sox, Alvarez was great. In Game 1, he had a walk in the second, an RBI double in the third, and a home run in the fifth. In Game 2, he again walked in the second, then a walk in the fifth, then an RBI single that broke the tie and led to a 5-run inning that put the game away. Again a second inning walk. This one led to a run thanks to Kyle Tucker. Alvarez struck out after a curse was placed on him, so pretty unfair if you ask me. And thanks to some, let's call it chicanery, the White Sox ended up winning. In Game 4, Yordan walked in the third this time, and then a walk in the eighth, and the Astros are moving on. And now we come to a moment in baseball history that is quite rare, ladies and gentlemen, because in the 2021 ALCS, the two hottest hitters on the planet are about to collide. It's Game 2 of the 2021 ALDS. The number 1 seed Rays are hosting the talented division rival Boston Red Sox, and I'm not gonna lie to you, things are going great. A Jordan Luplow grand slam has made it a 5-2 game. The Rays have all the momentum in the world, but a pair of Red Sox homers in the third made it a 5-4 game. Then Kike Hernandez took over. It starts with the home run to tie the game. By the time he comes up again, it's already 8-5. Then he hits a deep double. Then he hits one deep that hits the foul pole, but it was off the bounce, so it's another double. And then a single that drives in 2 runs to complete his 5-hit night. In Game 3, he starts things off with the deep single. A Stantonian single, if you will. Then another one that drives in a run in the third. Then in the fifth, that one is back, and it's a 2-run lead. Finally, in the seventh, Kit Kaz retired for the first time in his last 6 plate appearances with a liner straight to third base. And then, with a chance to walk things off in the ninth, he strikes out. Then a phenomenal defensive play in the 11th robs him of another hit. After a walk-off home run by Christian Vasquez, Game 4 could be the closeout. Kike's Game 4 begins with a great defensive play by Randy Arozarena to rob him of a single in the first. With 2 runners on, he flies out. Then an easy ground out, another single in the 7th, and then in the 9th with 2 runners in scoring position and 1 out, Kike delivers a sac fly that sends the Red Sox to the ALCS. It's gonna be Astros vs Red Sox, but in a much more real sense, it's gonna be Kike vs Yordan. Hernandez has been moved to the leadoff spot, and he immediately singles right to Yordan. But don't worry, Fromber can take care of that real quick. Yordan is still batting 4th, and after he lets a Chris Sale wild pitch scoot the runners over 90 feet, he launches a high pop-up that ends up scoring Altuve on a sac fly. It's Alvarez 1, Hernandez 0. But with the bases loaded, Michael Brantley hits a liner and Hernandez snags it, preventing at least 2 runs. And pretty soon, he adds one of his own.
Oh, Lord.
It's 1-1 all. Alvarez responds with a single that practically spits on the concept of the shift. Oh, hey everybody, that homer by Kike means FTX will donate $10,000 to charity. How awfully kind of them. I'm sure that company will work out. Anyway, Hernandez drops the ball right in front of Alvarez, and he's got himself a double. Yordan blinks first with the strikeout. And then Tucker hits one that Hernandez almost misplays, but he manages to snag it last minute. Then Hernandez responds to Yordan's strikeout with one of his own. Yordan may have struck out in the 7th, but ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. 4-3 Houston. With the bases loaded, Altuve hits one to Hernandez, who grabs it and rifles one home, but it's not in time as Yuli gets there. Which is good, because in the 9th inning, Hernandez launched his 2nd homer of the game to cut the lead down to 1. But other than that, Presley contained the Sox. 1-0 Astros. Hernandez's Game 2 starts with Chas McCormick making a nice diving grab to rob him of a hit. But a grand slam already puts the Astros on the ropes. Alvarez lines one deep, but Hernandez snags it. Already it's Kike's turn, and he singles to load the bases. Guess what, baby? That's the 2nd grand slam in as many innings! Already leading 8-0, Kike adds what is, essentially a stat pad homer. It was against Jake Odorizzi, bro. I am not moved. Alvarez walks. Hernandez strikes out. Alvarez somehow beats the shift. Hernandez gets doinked right on the elbow. Yordan flies out, and then the Sox easily handle this one and tie the series 1-1. Game 3 begins with Hernandez popping up. Then Yordan strikes out. Kyle Schwarber hits the Sox 3rd grand slam of the series, and Hernandez follows with a single. And then another one. Yordan responds with a single of his own off the Green Monster. Hernandez pops out, Yordan strikes out, and then he lines out, and it's 2-1 Red Sox. Game 4, Bregman gets it started with a homer, Alvarez pops out, Kike becomes a victim of Correa's absolute cannon of an arm, but the Red Sox then take the lead back, thanks to the hangingest hanging pitch that has ever hanged. Or would that be hung? Yeah, whatever. Then on the payoff pitch, Hernandez can't connect and he strikes out. Yordan walks, Kike pops it up into foul ground, and then Yordan gets a single that bounces off Arroyo's glove. Then Hernandez grounds out, and after Altuve ties the game with a solo home run, Yordan flies out to Hernandez in center. Then the wheels completely fell off the bus in the 9th inning for the Red Sox, with Yordan tacking on one of those runs thanks to a weak arm from Verdugo. Hernandez singled in the bottom of the 9th, but who cares, it's 2-2. To begin Game 5, Framber Valdez catches Kike looking with an inside slider. Then Sale tries the outside fastball, Yordan pokes it, and it carries, and it ends up out of here. His next time up, he knocks another outside fastball to the green monster, but this one doesn't carry nearly as much as the other one, and he ends up with just a single. Hernandez ground out. With the funny Gurriel thing in the 6th, Alvarez delivers a double that plates both runners. Hernandez flies one that Tucker barely has to move from, apart from a last-second readjustment. Alvarez gets caught looking. 2 on in the 9th, Alvarez hits what could be a double play, but the pitcher can't quite snag it and it ends up as a ground out. But the real story of this game was Framber Valdez's domination. He was perfect through the first 4 innings until he allowed a single hit to JD Martinez in the 5th. But don't worry, as per usual, he gets out of it with a double play. Boston only managed 2 other hits in the game, and Valdez became the first pitcher to go 8 innings and only allow 1 run at Fenway in the postseason since Charlie Nagy in the '98 ALDS. Needless to say, Astros lead 3-2. Time for Game 6. The Red Sox need a win to stay alive. The Astros can head to the World Series with a win. In the first, with Schwarber on after a strikeout, Hernandez almost gets a single, but the short king makes the long throw for the out. With Bregman on first, Alvarez hits one well out to center, where Hernandez can't quite haul it in. Bregman easily scores. Hernandez doesn't have that kind of power and pops out. Insert Albert Bell gif here. Alvarez punches one and of course it's fair. I mean, at this point everything he hits turns to gold. But Eovaldi works his way out of the jam. Dude, my guy, my brother, it is Chas McCormick, calm down. Oh, and by the way, Luis Garcia has a no-hit bid in the 6th. Until Hernandez launches what is almost a homer. But it bounces away from Chaz for the uncommon playoff triple. Garcia exits soon after, good job, and Phil Maton sits down Devers on 1 pitch. Now, what are the odds of, say, another triple? Are you kidding?
Another hit into the corner. Alvarez digs for 2. He's thinking, he's going. Lead off. Triple.
Not a bad time for your 2nd career triple, Yordan. Alright, baby, Correa, let's score this run. Okay, Tucker, let's score this run.
Hits it hard. Scooped up by Schwarber. Run comes to the plate. Safe. It's 2-0.
Sure, whatever. I mean, that counts. Another single by Yordan in the 8th inning led to that Tucker home run that put the final nail in the coffin for Boston. Presley retired Hernandez, Devers, and Bogarts in order to send the Astros to the World Series and end this incredible performance by Yordan. He batted .522 in his 23 at-bats, tacking on 2 walks en route to ALCS MVP. His OPS of 1408 was the 3rd highest ALCS OPS of all time with at least 23 at-bats. His opponent, Kike Hernandez, had a 1254 OPS in his 26 at-bats, which is 7th highest on this same list. But in the back half of the series, Hernandez slumped, collecting only 2 hits in the last 3 games. Alvarez, meantime, had 9 hits in the last 3 games. The Red Sox, as a team, had 10. Yordan Alvarez became the first player to ever out-hit the opposing team in the final 2 games of a playoff series. But all good things must come to an end. Yordan was as hot as a blowtorch in the ALCS, but he, and the entire rest of the team, slumped hard in the World Series. Yordan collected just 2 hits, but he did walk 5 times. However, he didn't record a single RBI. I mean, for goodness sake, Zach Greinke collected the same number of hits as him. Overall, good season. Yordan proved to the world that he was capable of taking over a playoff series and just straight up dragging his team to victory. I wonder if that'll come back into play next season. For the 3rd time in his career, Alvarez's first hit of the season was a home run. Him and Bregman both cooked shrimp tempura on opening day. Pretty sketchy stuff if you ask me. In a rematch of the ALCS on May 17th, Alvarez launched a home run over the Green Monster. Eovaldi then allowed in this order an error, a homer, an out, a single, a double, a homer, an out, a single, a homer, and then he was pulled. Not a great performance all around, that team is doomed. The Astros locked Yordan up with a $115 million extension that'll keep him in an Astros uniform until 2028, which, by the way, was the largest contract ever given out to a primary designated hitter. In his 4 games against the New York Metropolitans, he launched 4 homers, giving him an OPS of nearly 2 against them lifetime. But Yordan and Jeremy Pena collided in the last game, which sidelined Alvarez for a few days. He was selected to his first career All-Star game and the Home Run Derby, but was robbed of the starting DH spot because his ex-popular isn't as high as Ohtani's. He was sidelined with a hand issue, so he didn't even make the trip, but still, he got robbed. Although, in fairness, Yordan was definitely more of a left fielder at this point. His defense had fully come along. Well, I mean, his arm had thrown out a couple of runners at home throughout the year. On July 4th versus the Royals, he launched his first career walk-off home run. And then the next day, Yordan prevented the Royals from making it a 1-run game with a bullet from left. And then he hit another home run, just for good measure. And of course, we can't forget some of the nukes he hit versus the A's. A blast on the 30th of May nearly made it to the upper deck of the Oakland Coliseum, but nothing was more incredible than his matchup against Adrian Martinez on September 16th. The Astros had a chance to clinch a postseason berth with a win, and Alvarez came to play, launching one 434 feet to the Budweiser party deck. The party's on, I'm not 21, can I say that? Then he comes up in the third to launch one 431 feet to the fans in the home run pump section. But then in the fifth, Jeremy Pena launched one deep to left, and that would be a home run. Mark Kotze, hey Mark, how you been Mark? He's warming up a lefty reliever, but he chooses to let Martinez face Yordan one more time.
Yordan, give him a 3 spot. Forget about it. The longest home run of the night.
And that would be a 464-foot mistake. A grand total of a 1/4 mile of distance of homers on the night, plus a single because might as well kick the A's when they're down. The Astros coasted into another AL West crown and a first-round matchup against the winner of the Mariners-Blue Jays wildcard series. It was a dominant Mariners win in Game 1 as they got some early runs, and Luis Castillo absolutely dominated on his way to becoming the most recent Mariners pitcher to win a playoff game. But the Blue Jays responded in Game 2 with Teoscar Hernandez tagging the Mariners' ace with a pair of home runs in the second and fourth. The Mariners responded with a run, but Toronto poured on 4 more to make the lead 8-1. And then everything changed. It started with the Mariners loading the bases in the 6th, looking like they were going to get a few of those runs back. But Kevin Gausman managed to get 2 outs before he got pulled for Tim Meza. Meza then allowed a wild pitch, which just meant Carlos Santana's home run was a 3-run shot instead of a grand slam. Danny Jansen got back a run, but the Big Dumper's RBI single eventually led to another bases-loaded situation with no outs. Jordan Romano came in and got the first 2 outs before he had to deal with J.P. Crawford, who hits a little blooper. It's getting down to, not great. The game is tied, Springer would have to be removed, but there is still baseball to be played. And the Mariners take the lead on an Adam Frazier double as they close it out in the 9th, completing the comeback. Look how happy these fans are. This is the reaction of a fan base that hasn't experienced the postseason in over 2 decades. And you just gotta feel happy for them. Look, you already know how Game 1 ends. You don't need me to remind you about that. This image has been permanently stamped on the brain of every Mariners fan for the last couple of months. But what gets overshadowed by that homer is the fact that Yordan had one of the greatest postseason games of all time, and I'm dead serious. It started with the first pitch pop fly that ended a quick first inning for Logan Gilbert. Then with runners on the corners, Gilbert gives Alvarez a ball. Then Yordan slices one off the Crawford box wall and left, cutting the deficit in half with just 1 swing. Oh, did I mention that Yordan is actually playing left field, not DH? Well, he goes after this ball hit by Ty France, but it just barely hits the wall as he nearly made a phenomenal catch. And then JV hangs one and it rockets to left, but Yordan easily throws out France at home. And easily is an understatement, France wasn't even close. Terrible send there, M's. We're approaching Yankees tier of bad base running. Alvarez takes a mighty swing, but it's a foul. Then an easy take, then a shift ground out man. Next year, he finna eat. In the 7th, Yordan makes a nice running snag to rob Mitch Haniger of a hit. Now facing Andres Munoz, Yordan whiffs at the first slider, then the 101 heat at the inside corner. Munoz tries the slider again, but it stays in the zone, and Yordan punishes him with a long single. And then Bregman punishes Munoz for throwing his 4th straight slider with the 403-foot homer. It's 7-5 now. You already know what happens the next time Yordan comes up. Robbie Ray throws a sinker right down the middle that Yordan takes a huge swing at, followed by Robbie Ray, well...
You want to see me do it again?
Exit velo of 116, XBA of 1,000, homer in all 30 parks, swinging a fly ball deep to right field, going, and goodbye baseball. Yada yada. Yordan Alvarez added 105% to his team's chance to win the game. Nobody else in Major League Baseball history has ever hit 100%. Oh, and by the way, that throw that saved a guaranteed run back when the Mariners were going to coast to victory doesn't even show up in this calculation. If ever the term was accurate, Yordan single-handedly won the game for Houston. But that's only one game. You need 3 to win the series. Game 2, Luis Castillo takes the mound for the Mariners. He dominated in his wildcard series start, so expect runs to be hard to come by in this one, especially with Frommer on the mound for Houston. The big fella steps in and gets a standing ovation. Well deserved, if you ask me. He fouls off a pitch way outside. Yordan, why swing at that? No chance that could be hit. Castillo gets him fishing down low, but the upstairs fastball doesn't fool him. Neither does the inside sinker. Yordan is early on the changeup, and it's an easy tapper to Castillo. With Pena on second, Castillo tries the low changeup. Then he does it again, and then again, before going upstairs and getting an easy pop-out. His next time up is a dire situation for the Astros. Castillo has been on one this game. He's tossing another gem, but again Pena gets on with a 2-out hit. The big fella comes up ready to mash, but he swings at that. Yordan, come on bro, we already established this is not a pitch that is hittable.
And that one's hit well deep into left field, and Alvarez has done it again!
You know what? I'm starting to think he can hit anything. And as if the greater northwest region of the United States needed another reason to hate Yordan, he makes a running grab to prevent runs from scoring in the 7th. Pena walks in the 8th, and Scott Service admits defeat. He puts Yordan on first, even though it's occupied. Look at this image. You can feel this man's pain. And what makes it even funnier is that Bregman immediately doubles in an insurance run. You just gotta love the lose-lose situations, baby. Then after a Judge and some more tomfoolery in the 9th, the Astros headed out of Houston up 2-0 for the 5th time since 2017. You probably heard about Game 3. TLDR, Alvarez and the entirety of everybody went 0 for who cares with a hit-by pitch. And Pena sent the Astros to the ALCS for the 6th year in a row. Not gonna lie, Alvarez had a really bad championship series. He only had 3 hits and 1 RBI. But that RBI did tie up Game 4, which allowed for the sweep. For the 3rd time in his career, Yordan Alvarez will play in the World Series. And he slumped again. But still, he delivered an RBI double in the first inning of Game 2. And with the bases loaded in Game 4, he was ready to make his mark on this World Series 4, and that's a hit by pitch, but still, it's an RBI. So I guess you can thank Yordan for the no-hitter. He delivered a massive insurance run in Game 5, although really it was more Rhys Hoskins' fault. But he has a huge chance in Game 6. Runners on the corners with 1 out. Jose Alvarado comes in to deal with Alvarez. He delivers a sinker that Yordan fouls off, and then a cutter way outside. That's way up and in, 2-1. You know something? If you think about it, all the clutch home runs in MLB history weren't really all that far. I mean, Joe Carter's walk-off barely went out, same with Mazeroski's. David Freese, that was in the middle of the batter's eye. There has never been a clutch home run in the postseason that deep. Like, I'm not sure if it's possible for anyone to hit a home run over the batter's eye in a spot like that, but if someone did, pretty sure I know who would hit it. I think you already know who I'm talking about.
On a 2-1, Alvarez hits a high drive.